A quiet exodus is reshaping the border between Canada and the United States. The hum of cars crossing, the roar of planes heading south is fading. This is not a temporary slump, this is a deliberate, sustained and powerful movement. A Canadian boycott with profound economic and political cost. In this video we will examine the situation of this historic stand. We will break it down to three critical phases. First, the fracture. The political and personal reasons this boycott began and why it endures. Second, the fallout. The tangible multi-billion-dollar impact being felt across the United States. And third, the future. What does it mean for the relationship between our two nations and the unexpected strengths Canada is finding in its conviction? This is the story of a line drawn in the sand and a neighbor choosing to stand firmly on its own side.
Travel data suggests Canadians are still staying away from the U.S., with Donald Trump's trade war leaving many of them making alternative travel plans.
Tourism in Las Vegas is in a big slump this summer, costing the city billions of dollars. Some are saying that could signal trouble ahead for the U.S. economy.
We are never going to be the 51st state of the United States. I've chosen not to spend money in a country that is being that belligerent about us.
Last year, Canadians made over 20 million visits to the U.S. and spent more than $20 billion here. But this year, many are not coming to America.
It seems more Canadian snowbirds are deciding to fly elsewhere this winter to avoid the U.S. as their vacation destination.
The number of Canadians crossing the border has been steadily dropping, and a new survey finds the trend is likely to continue well into next year. Here's Pat Foran and Consumer Alert. Pat.
Well, thanks, Nathan and Michelle. Next month, many retired Canadians would normally be packing their suitcases to head to Florida, Arizona, and other sunny U.S. destinations. But a new survey shows a massive drop in snowbirds planning to cross the border, choosing other hotspots instead. More Canadians are turning their backs on travel to the U.S., deciding to either stay at home or choose sunny destinations somewhere else. A survey by the Travel Health Insurance Association of Canada found that only 26% are likely to go to the U.S. That's a 37% drop from last year. The survey found of those 61 years of age and older, only 10% are likely to go to the U.S. That's a 66% drop from the year before.
We've certainly seen a move by some to get away from maybe ownership or long-term rentals in the U.S. in favor of other southern climates.
To understand the Canadian boycott, you must first understand its cause. This is not sparked by a single event, but by a fundamental breakdown. This is a response to a constant drumbeat of political hostility. The threats of annexation, the 51st state rhetoric, and to punitive tariffs. For Canadians, this exceeds politics. It became a question of respect, sovereignty and shared values.
It's no secret Canadian snowbirds haven't been flocking to South Florida lately. President Trump's immigration rules and tariffs have caused controversy in Canada.
CBS News' Mamis Touchdown joins us live from Fort Lauderdale Beach, where businesses are feeling the empty nest. Ted, the Canadians have been coming down here for so many years, it's strange not to see them.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Elliot and Lauren, the greater Fort Lauderdale is expecting up to 150,000 fewer visitors from Canada. They make up one of the largest groups of international visitors to South Florida. But today we spoke to three different businesses. Dairy Bell on Dania Beach is a popular hangout for Canadian snowbirds. The question is, will they be packing the place this winter?
A lot of them will not come because of Trump and what was going on with Canada. They just don't want to come and spend their money here. The cost of living here has changed a lot. Everything went up.
The Grenier family owns Dairy Bell. Francois telling us he's not sure what to expect. According to Visit Lauderdale, Canadian visitors are down by 10 to 16% since April, and 13.5% fewer Canadians are flying in. That could translate to an economic loss of up to $90 million.
The bottom line is we all want to make more money, and we were ready to serve and be busy, but there's nothing we can do if they don't come.
The Atlantic Hotel on Fort Lauderdale Beach has seen their Canadian numbers drop so much, they sent staff to Brazil with Visit Lauderdale to drum up more business.
We're seeing a decline in the Canadian traveler to our hotel. So we are really trying to encourage people to come to Fort Lauderdale and the beautiful beaches.
In Hollywood, Richard's Motel had a lot of cancellations in the spring and summer. The woman on the phone is one of those who canceled.
She says she's been coming here for over 25 years, which she used to feel free.
I've chosen not to spend money in a country that is being that belligerent about us or to us.
The data paints a stark picture of the impact to the US economy. Consider the Canadian snowbirds, a staple of the US economy for decades. This year, a survey reveals a stunning collapse in their numbers. Only 26% are likely to travel to the United States, a 37% drop. And most tellingly, among those 61 and older, the very core of this tradition, only 10% are making the trip. A staggering 66% decline, and this is not about cost. This is about principles. As a Long Beach, Florida hotel owner stated plainly, a lot of them will not come because of Trump. And the Canadian snowbird, after 25 years of winter pilgrimage, cancelled her trip, stating she feels no longer safe in the US. A connection has been destroyed. This boycott is not a negotiation tactic, it is a statement of identity. And that statement carries a multi-billion-dollar price tag. The statistics from October are tidal waves of absence. Return trips to the US by car plummets by over 30%. Air travel fell by nearly 24%.
Trips among Canadians traveling to the U.S. in October dropped by nearly 24% for air travel and then more than 30% for land travel. That's compared to the same time last year. And we've really been seeing this decline since early this year. This, of course, tied to the souring relationship with the United States because U.S. President Donald Trump launched a trade war, has also been referring to Canada as the 51st state, which has really left a bad taste in people's mouths.
This represents 1.4 million fewer journeys by car in a single month. Behind those numbers are empty restaurants in Detroit, quiet hotels in Fort Lauderdale, and struggling ski resorts in Montana. The city of New York alone anticipates 800,000 fewer international visitors by year's end, a loss of nearly $4 billion in revenue. The US Travel Association estimates a total loss of $5.7 billion in international tourism spending this year. A downturn, they admit, is largely being driven by fewer Canadians.
It forecasts a more than 3% decline in international tourism spending for 2025, a close to $6 billion loss compared to 2024. The main culprit, says the report, fewer Canadian visitors.
In response, desperate promotions and discounts are being offered to Canadians in border cities. But they miss the point entirely. This is not hunting for sales, but a stand. The economic consequences are already rippling through the US travel industry. WestJet has suspended 9 routes to popular US destinations from Las Vegas to LA, a direct response to plummeting Canadian demand. The message is clear. When you insult your closest neighbor and most reliable tourist base, expect the Canadian middle finger. Your economic foundation begin to crack. So, where does this lead? Evidence suggests this is not a fleeting protest, but a permanent realignment. This movement has been internationalized. The world has watched, and in many ways joined Canada in its stance against the tariff terrorism of the disaster administration. But the most significant impact may be the one felt here at home. The boycott has inadvertently benefited the Canadian economy. Canadians are discovering new destinations in Europe, Mexico, and reinventing their travel dollars within their own borders, increasing employment numbers and strengthening domestic tourism. Polls now show a historic shift in sentiment, with nearly half of Canadians viewing the US as a potential threat.
Reaching out to Stephen Schmidt. He is the co-founder of the Save American movement, the creators of the ad you just watched. Schmidt is also a former Republican strategist who worked on the campaigns of George W. Bush, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and John McCain. He also hosts his own podcast called The Warning. Steve, nice to see you again. Thank you for joining us today.
Good to be with you, Michael.
You know, there was a new poll that came out last week here in Canada, and I want to share this survey with you. This is from the Angus Reid Institute, and they reported that more Canadians now see the United States as a greater threat or enemy than the People's Republic of China. What's your reaction to that?
I think that's true.
I
think the United States has become a profound threat to Canada in the administration of Donald Trump. You have an American president that degrades the United States' most important ally, insults its prime minister, insults the premiers of its provinces, talks about territorial expansion. The United States and Canada are two of the three principal countries that saved the world on the 6th of June, 1944. Donald Trump has tried to snuff out Canadian independence. His ambassador, Pete Hoekstra, is a disgrace. And every Canadian should appreciate that Donald Trump is as much a threat to Canada as he is to the liberty of Americans. The only Western leader who has managed the Trump relationship effectively at all is Mark Carney. And so there are a lot of Americans who look at the steadfastness of the Canadian Prime Minister and of the Canadian people who will not get on a knee to Donald Trump. So
this is a deep-seated change in perception that will not be easily reversed. The boycott will last at least as long as the Trump-Vance administration is in the House of Horrors. It is a moral and political position, not a financial one. While the 2026 FIFA World Cup may provide a temporary pause, as most major sporting events of this level do, it will not erase the underlying cause and eliminate the boycott. This is more than about a single administration. It is about a fracture in the very idea of a special relationship. Canadians in their millions are doing in their personal lives what the government is doing on the world stage, avoiding the US, seeking new partnerships, building new loyalties and forging a more independent path. The story of this boycott is ultimately the story about consequences. It demonstrates that national pride cannot be tariffed, that friendship cannot be demanded under threat. The empty beaches of Florida and the quiet border crossings are a direct result of political choices made in Washington. They are a silent, powerful testament to the fact that respect might not mean much to many Americans, but it certainly does to us Canadians, as the world knows. The United States is learning that its nearest ally and one of its largest economic partners will not stand by passively. Canada has drawn a line, and as the data proves, we are standing firmly behind it. So, I'm talking about not standing by passively as the orange idiot trying to harm our nation. Well, let's extend the boycott. We are already boycotting very successfully, traveling into Trumpistan and buying US goods. So why not? Let's extend our boycott to US-made cars. I think it's an awesome idea, and the potential impact on the US economy is enormous. But instead of me explaining this to you, I would say, let's Klaus Kellerman do this. Klaus, a short while ago, made a video about boycotting US-made cars, and he explains it very eloquent. Let's take a look.
Is to simply stop buying cars that are manufactured in the US. We need to boycott buying cars manufactured in the US, just like we boycotted tourism to the US and boycotted buying US alcohol and wine. We basically crushed the US tourism industry and we've crushed the US wine industry. We've taken away their profit margin. because Canada's the biggest purchaser of US cars. Go back to this chart here. Canada imports $90 billion worth of automobiles a year, almost all of them from the United States. And if you look at the value of the US exports $144 billion worth of cars. We buy almost all their cars. We could crush their auto industry by simply refusing to buy their cars. So instead of whining and complaining and saying that Canada's broken and spew all this doom and gloom and what are we going to do and let's try and change Donald Trump's mind, the answer is within us. We're the consumers. We hold all the cards. Other than a house, an automobile is one of the biggest investments that any Canadian will make. So why the hell would you want to give that money to the US economy? Just simply pivot, boycott US manufactured cars, and buy cars that are manufactured in Canada, buy cars that are manufactured anywhere else in the world. Germany, for example, or for me, Japan.
So, there you have it, folks. The boycott continues. Its resolve is unbroken. And the Canadian message is echoing across the continent. So my friends, let me know in the comment below. Are you in the market for a new car? If so, will you be boycotting US-made cars? But also, in general, how do you feel about the car boycott? Thanks for watching. And if you like this channel's deep dive, ring the bell so you won't miss my next one. I'm Wilfried Lemkuller from Europe Curious.
You by our side, and we spent so many nights thinking how you did us wrong. Now we've banded all together. Your tariff made us strong, and so you know you're not so great. There's not a snowball's chance in hell will be your 51st state. We really need our resources for more than we need you, so now just go. Walk out the door. We do not need you. You're not welcome anymore. Weren't you the one who instigated these trade fights? You'll soon grow to regret it when we turn off your lights in the dark. As long as we can think and work, we know we'll stay alive. We have all we really need. We can live without your greed. We will survive. We will survive. There's been a change. It's time anew. We're not that fledgling little country stealing all of you. We are now a nation proud that is happy to be free. You didn't realize you gave us our own identity, so now just go. We will survive. As long as we can think and work, we know we'll stay alive. Yeah, but all we really need, we can live without your greed. We will survive. We will survive. We will survive.
51st state, my fucking ass. Go on, Canada.